Hey everyone, welcome back to Dubious Engineering. We're back on the van project. It's cold, it's wet, it's England, and winter's coming. Hopefully you can see that we've now got a kitchen installed. Some of the fun things that we've got to do today, we've got to wire in the fridge, we've got to test the pump and test all of the plumbing and make sure that everything works. So let's go in and have a look around, and then let's go ahead and get all of that stuff tested out and get the electrics wired in. So this actually should be really quite good fun. This is going to add an awful lot of functionality to the van, functionality that we didn't have before. Running water, for instance, a fridge and a gas cooker that's permanently installed. We've got these lovely cupboards. We have here a bottle of water. We've got the fridge, brand new, and we've got the cooker on the top here. We have a sink here as well. Oops, put the tap down first. There we go. So that's really quite cool. What we've got to do now, we've got to get some of the electrics wired up. Here's my friend Matty's DC mate. When we've got the electrics wired up, we can then test the pump for the sink, which is a pump that's fitted inside the water container. I'll show you that in a few seconds. And then what we've got to do is we've got to wire up the fridge. We've got to see if we can make some ice. Maybe tonight I can have a Jack and Coke cold with ice. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Right, this will be fun. Let's get on with it then. Let's go ahead and open up the back, and then you can see how everything's laid out in here. This is effectively just storage in here. We've got a door here that you can access from the bed when you're lying down. This is also accessible directly from the back here. There's a separate little storage area in the back here where I keep tables. In fact, we have a whole new table system which I'm going to show you now as well. So in here then, I've got a table that that I made myself. There's a temporary table. This is an old camper table and it was in pretty bad shape, so what I did is I went ahead and put a nice piece of wood on the top of it. So that's quite useful. That can be our outside table. And then here we've got the proper table for use inside the camper van, and that fits nicely inside this cupboard here, and it locks in place with this little device here. And then we've got some nicely fitting boxes that I found, and sleeping bags and various other bits and chairs and that kind of good stuff. So we need to figure out quite where everything's going to fit, but we're certainly getting there. Right, let's show you that table. Right then, enough show and tell, let's get down to some real work. So first thing to do is to remove this Dometic fridge, pull it out, it's not bolted in yet. Then what we've got to do is wire up the electric pump, get some water in the water container and test the plumbing in the sink. As soon as we've established that that all works properly, then we can wire up the fridge and bolt the fridge in place. Hello birds. We'll get into more details on the fridge later, but there's some good controls inside it. You can make ice in the top of it. Really quite a cool piece of kit. A lot of money really for what they are. Yeah, that's all we need to do is we need to wire this bad boy up here. Okay, Okay, so now we've got to do a bit of basic soldering. So I've got some Anderson power pole connectors here, bit of solder, Stanley knife, an old pair of rusty side cutters, a battery powered soldering iron, you're going to enjoy this bit, and my very own homemade lithium ion solar recharge battery system. So we'll use this here to power the soldering iron, currently 11.2 volts, a little bit low, but then we haven't had a lot of sun. So we'll plug the soldering iron in, let it heat up. So we've got that plugged into a 3 amp fuse, which is probably a bit much, probably only needs about an amp, but that'll do for now for testing. Let's see if this bad boy works. Okay, the plug is in the sink. Not sure what that's for. Tap is raised up, there's water in the bottle. Oh yes! Check it out! Right, let's see if the plug drips. That's awesome. We've got running water in the van. That's quite cool. Right, gotta get my head under the sink for a minute. Okay. No leaking. Right, more water. So when you use the pump, you are using up 1.3 amps on 12 volts. You can adjust the flow rate. I didn't expect that. Oh, and you can rotate. Excellent. Right, let's see what happens to the wastewater. So a top tip, when you go to change your water container, make sure the pump and the hose pipe gets a chance to just dump all of the residual water back into the water container. Otherwise you're going to end up with wet wood. Wet wood is never good. I think I just made up a saying. Oh, well that was quite a lot of mucking around. But we've got a pump that works and running water and water storage, which is absolutely epic. So, well, I think it's about time for a cup of tea, isn't it, really? So why don't we go ahead and fill up the kettle. Here's the kettle. Weird looking thing, it's one of these collapsible kettles. Awesome, running water. And that's probably about enough for a cuppa. And then, well, we can try out one of these hobs, can't we? Right, I think I've probably got to turn the gas on first. Oopsie. And there it is. Oh, okay. Oh, now she blows. We've got gas. We are making hot water in a collapsible kettle, having got running water from a sink in our camper van. This is epic. I can't wait to get the fridge installed now. Cup of tea first, guys. Be right back. Ooh, see, and you can adjust the flow rate.
Okay.
Now that's interesting. I just noticed a little drip.
Yeah.
So I might need to just double check what's going on there, see where that's coming from. But if you wanted to swill out a cup, you can do that. Also, here, whoops. So now you can make us a cup of tea. I have lured the wife in, and she is going to go ahead and make us a nice cup of tea with water from the tap. How cool is that?
That's very cool.
Alright, you can turn the gas off now, it's boiling I think.
Turn it off?
Yep. So go ahead and make us a cup of tea then, Nav. I'm absolutely gasping for a cup of tea.
Ooh, just like this?
Yeah, don't do it over you, do it over the sink. Sorry, the collapsible kettle, when it gets warm, is a little bit flexible, a little bit scary. Cool. This is our first cup of tea with the Dometic 922 tap and hob system. So so this is quite cool. You cold? I'm sweating, but then I guess it's because I'm working.
You're trying to tell me
No,
something.
I'm not trying to tell you anything.
So after you finish, or you put the cover back,
Well,
or just leave it like that?
yeah, I need to go and get on the floor and have a look, see where that drip came from, because it looks like it came from the drain plug. Hold on, let me get down under there.
It's wet here.
Yeah, and it's dirty, and unfortunately you're gonna have to. Yeah, okay, it's definitely dripping from the centre screw. Alright, so maybe needs a little PTFE.
Oops.
Thank you. Needs more sugar.
More sugar? I think it's enough. You should try not to drink too much sugar.
Can I have more sugar, please?
I see now. I should try again.
Please, can I have more sugar?
Can you try again? Or you add more sugar?
So nice. Needs sugar. Oh, come on! Look, I know I need to be on a diet, but please, can I get some sugar in my tea?
You are too old.
I'm too old for sugar in my tea.
Too much sugar. We should try to.
Not bad. Anyway, thank you for the cup of tea, my lovely.
Well,
What do you think of the new kitchen appliances?
It's nice.
It's cool, isn't it?
Oh, the refrigerator is missing.
Yeah, I've taken the fridge out because I need to wire the fridge up.
Okay.
And I just wanted to make sure that all the plumbing and everything worked before wiring the fridge in.
Okay.
Alright, so I didn't show you down in here. So what we've got down in here then is we've got a gas bottle with a little vent pipe leading to the outside. Gas is heavier than air, so if there's a leak, the excess gas will go outside. And then there's storage space here. You might notice that what I've been doing is actually putting a couple of extra cables in place. One is for lighting at the back, and the other one that you can see off going out to the back is solar power input for the C-Tech charger that's installed under the passenger seat. So quite a bit of work going on at the moment. Fixed the plumbing problems. I need to wire up and install the fridge. Right then. So we've got lights in the rear of the unit that need wiring in So ultimately I've got to go ahead and solder on yet another one of these Anderson power pole connectors. Got a few of those to do today. Had to change the soldering iron out, had to go with something a little bit more commercial. The battery in the other soldering iron just wasn't staying on target. So anyway, this should do a fine job. Quite here, it's all mains powered now. I have to work on the solar power shed for next summer, I think. Get some more storage, some more 18650 storage in there. Right, let's get an Anderson power pole connector then. So here we have the two connectors wired up. All we got to do is plug them into each other, and boom, as the crazy Russian hacker says. So now, if I just carefully remove that, hopefully we can hide that wiring. Down in there. Right, so that's lighting for the cupboards at the back, and also side light over there. Whew. Right, go and put some more Anderson power pole connectors on some more cables and start plugging stuff in. Oh, there she is. So this fridge takes a little bit more current. I think it'll pull up to possibly sort of 4 or 5 amps on a tough day when you just first turn it on. We'll see how it does. Actually, we've got the ability to be able to check with our little DC mate over here. So that said, I've chosen some slightly thicker cable so that we can handle the current capacity a little bit better. Here's the old stuff. This is the new stuff here. Might have gone a bit overboard, might be a bit overkill, but we'll get this bad boy wired in. Cool. Let's get on with it then. So it clearly states which pins are for which. So negative at the top, positive at the bottom. So we're just going to go ahead and put an Anderson power pole connector on here, and then we'll feed the thicker cable through with another power pole connector on it. So let's make it happen. I always like to make sure that I solder my connections. I very rarely use chock blocks, these screw terminals. I think they're a right old pain, and there's a high risk that that the screws come undone and you end up with a poor contact further down the road. So you might as well take the time, do a decent job and solder this stuff up, because the last thing you want to happen is for one of these circuits to stop working on you when you're on your holiday enjoying yourself, and then you have to go and find a solution. Right then, so I've done the cable prep. So we've got the power pole connector on there. That lovely job there, and this guy here as well. So they plug into each other nicely. There we go. Good fit. Now all I've got to do is feed that cable through to the battery area, and we should be good to test this bad boy out. In fact, talking of testing it out, maybe we should just test it out first, make sure it all switches on before we screw it in place. It's always a good idea. So all I've done then is I've just bodged the cable into the DC mate for now, and I can hear, well, I can see that it's drawing 3.2 amps. And if I put the microphone here, and if I put the microphone there, you can hear that the compressor's running, so we know the fridge is working. Alright, so I've offered the fridge up to the opening. On the floor down there you can see one Anderson power pole connector on the thick cable, and then you can see this production pigtail coming off the back of the fridge. So all that's to do now, connect those together, shove the fridge in and bolt it in place. So once you've got your fridge approximately where you want it, you're going to need to remove these little caps here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. They're actually quite tough to get out, so I suggest a small screwdriver to get them started, and then use a larger screwdriver to pry them out in order to reduce the amount of damage that you have to do to the fridge to get them out. They're really quite tough going. Come on. Well, there we go, another one. And then what you do is you go ahead, you get some self-tapping screws, and effectively just go ahead and drill through into the wood on either side of the fridge in those 4 locations, and then pop the caps back in place. Simple as that. Right then, look at that bad boy all wired in. So at the moment then, drawing 4.5, 4.6 amps. So quite a power hungry beast. But I guess once it's up to temperature, or down to temperature, it'll then start to become a little bit more efficient. Just move some of those cables, and then inside here's the controls for it. So I've got it set on not really cold, but slightly more efficient setting, and it's quite good actually. Controls are quite simple. Yeah, I'll just show you the controls real quick. So press and hold, power off, press and hold, power on, and then once it's done its boot up cycle, you can then go ahead and set the super cold or not super cold. There's a freezer box in the top here. Actually, to be fair, that is pretty cold. Oh, right, yeah, so the top here is very cold right now, so that's pretty cold in the freezer box. And yeah, various different compartments. So this is the Dometic CRX50. It has a little wheel on the top here, which gives you the ability to be able to set it to vent mode, which means that it keeps a little crack in the door, so that when you're not actually using the fridge, you don't end up with a whole bunch of nasty smells. So then, this is the Dometic 922 sink here, which we've seen working. Got a few bits and bobs in there at the moment. And then on the right hand side here, these are the gas hobs, the burners. So, whoops, we're getting there, guys and girls, we're getting there. Need a break. Right, that's it for now. We're off to Scotland soon. Really need to clean the van. It's getting a bit messy. Hey people, the wife made me go have a shave and change after I'd done all that hard work today. So today what we've done is we've done a little bit of plumbing and a little bit of work on a 922 Dometic 922 sink and double hob burner. we've also installed a CRX50 Dometic fridge freezer, and with a little bit of luck, let me just show you. And with a little bit of luck, we're going to have some cold drinks. Well, I'm going to have some cold drinks. The wife will probably want some tea or coffee or something like that. Green tea. Anyway, how awesome. We finally got something in the way of a kitchen fitted in our van now. As always, give us a good old thumbs up. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't already, and click the bell and all that kind of madness so that you get notified when we produce new videos. And perhaps share this with people that might enjoy understanding a little bit about sort of wiring and installation work and all that kind of good stuff. Thanks ever so much for watching. Take care. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend. Cheers, people. Bye for now.